This is an absolutely insane situation that, frankly, I don't know where to begin with. So you have a John Barnett, a longtime Boeing employee who blew the whistle about certain aspects of the company, and well, all of a sudden it turned out a couple of days later he I don't know what had information that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. Like what are we dealing with here? Okay, so here's the 35,000 foot view on this. Okay, 62-year-old Boeing whistleblower John Barnett found dead in his truck after he didn't show up for a legal interview linked to the case against Boeing. Barnett worked for Boeing for 32 years and retired in 2017. After retiring, Barnett spoke out about how Boeing was cutting corners on their airplanes. Just days before his death, Barnett gave evidence in a lawsuit against Boeing. Barnett accused Boeing of deliberately fitting substandard parts on their aircraft. He also accused Boeing of having faulty oxygen systems, saying a 1 in 4 breathing mask would not work in an emergency situation. Barnett said new plane builds were rushed. When he brought his concerns forward, they were allegedly ignored by the company. When he died, Barnett was in Charleston for interviews linked to the case against Boeing. He was supposed to come back for more questions on Saturday, but didn't show up. Inquiries were made for his hotel, where Barnett was found dead in his car in the parking lot. Police are investigating Barnett's death, but say he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Oh, you can see, obviously, there's a clip from a TMZ interview, which if I play a second of that, they're just going to go ahead and strike, because TMZ is a fantastic beacon of journalism, but that's the over-the-top synopsis of who we're dealing with, what the situation is, so shout out to Winnie Scola for that one. Good stuff, but rumors are circulating. Yeah, the Boeing self-deleting whistleblower, John Barnett, found dead in his car because he was about to expose their entire money laundering operation. Yeah, we've seen some funny stuff go on, and especially with Boeing in for the better part of a decade, in fact, but much more recently, where you had that plane, like the hull of it, explode at 30,000 feet, and thankfully nobody died, and the worst that happened was somebody's sweater got sucked out the window. So crazy as that ended up being, that was a Boeing 757, one of the smaller boys. That kicked up a fervor in the industry, and then also you have the funky FAA guidelines, and it's like, what's going on with air travel right now? And well, now we start to have some conspiracy theories emerge as Boeing whistleblower John Barnett, about to give a deposition, but didn't end up making the grade. John Barnett was found dead from, we know it. If I keep saying it, okay, they won't let me say it. As a brother, his brother said he suffered from PTSD and anxiety attacks as a result of being subjected to hostile work environment at Boeing, which he believed led to his death. Sure, I'm sure that's what led to his death, and not somebody who is far more concerned about the overall well-being of the Boeing Corporation. Conspiracy theories are gaining traction after, I'm just going to say Clintoning, because that sounds far more that's far more fun and apropos for this situation, who made damning allegations about Boeing aircrafts, and who was in the middle of giving a deposition about the company when he was found deceased earlier this month. Barnett, 62, was found dead on, my birthday, March 9th. Oh no. Life and death, the yin and yang, from a self-eating gunshot wound. According to a statement from Charleston County Coroner's Office, the statement also said Charleston Police Department is investigating the incident. Former Boeing employee, 32 years, Barnett raised questions about the safety and quality of the quality control practices of Boeing after being transferred to the company's South Carolina production plant in 2010. Barnett worked at that plant until his retirement in 2017, filed a complaint against the company for the with OSHA, Occupational Health and Safety. 2017, it was in the process of appealing the initial decision in this case, which found that Boeing had not retaliated against him after he spoke out about his practices to his supervisors. Interesting. Barnett had been giving a deposition in the case at the time of his death. Allegations about Boeing were made national headlines in 2019 when Barnett sat down for an in-depth interview with the New York Times. As quality manager at Boeing, you're the last line of defense before the defect makes it out into the flying public, Barnett said in the interview. And I haven't seen a plane out of Charleston yet that I'd put my name on saying it's safe and airworthy. That's wild. He was there for 7 years and didn't once find a plane that he would sign off for. What's going on? Rodney Barnett released a statement to the AP on behalf of his family on Tuesday about the brother's death. John was deeply concerned about the safety of an aircraft and flying public and had identified some serious defects that he felt were not adequately addressed. He said that Boeing had a culture of concealment and was putting profits over safety. He was suffering from PTSD and anxiety attacks as the result of being subjected to a hostile work environment at Boeing, which he believed led to his death. Yeah, and then also going, yeah, I worked there. I seen what was going on. There was nothing I can do, but I can still see those planes flying through the air and just hope I'm not standing under them when one decides to go all flumpy. Barnett's lawyer also released a statement about the client's death on Tuesday afternoon. Let's see if this is coordinated. John was a brave, honest man of the highest integrity. He cared dearly about his family, his friends, the Boeing company, his Boeing co-workers, and the pilots and people who flew on Boeing aircrafts. We have rarely met someone with a more sincere and forthright character, the statement read. In the course of his job as a quality manager at Boeing, South Carolina, John learned of and exposed very serious safety problems with Boeing 787 Dreamliner and was retaliated against and subject to a hostile work environment, which was subject to a pending Air 21 case. It continued. John was in the midst of a deposition in the whistleblower retaliation case, which finally was nearing its end. He was in very good spirits and really looking forward to putting this phase of his life behind him and moving on. We didn't see any indication that he would self-delete, so no one can believe it. This is coming from his lawyer. That's interesting. We're all devastated. We need more information about what happened to John. The Charleston police needs to investigate this fully and accurately to tell the public what they find out. No detail can be left unturned. Officers will call it to the hotel he is staying at for a welfare check on Saturday, but then ultimately found him in his car and just, saw that he bought a tow trigger for a shotgun and decided to try it out. Social media is rife with unfounded theories about Barnett's death and not at his own. Was not at his own hands. Well, I mean, you also have his lawyer and his brother kind of also leaning into that. It's like, showed no signs at all. Yeah, sure, he had some problems, but he was looking to have those rectified by taking it to the company that caused those problems for him. So yeah, I guess you could also say that they're also ripe with conspiracy theories. Individuals on TikTok and Twitter have expressed skepticism of the official accounts of the events and instead called his death suspicious. Well, we don't even have a conclusive police investigation, so I think suspicious, inconclusive, would be accurate. Boeing responded to the news of Barnett's death in a brief statement. We're saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts with his family and friends. Best of luck in your future endeavors. The company is dealing with another in-air incident this week after 50 people were injured. Oh, I didn't hear about this one on Monday while flying a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. Oh, wow. The same model that Barnett had been talking about for years. Huh. Weird. LATAM Airlines, the operator of the flight, said in a statement, LATAM Airlines Group reports that flight LA 800 operating the Sydney-Auckland route today had a technical event during the flight which caused a strong movement. The plane landed at Auckland Airport as scheduled. Boeing said in a statement as investigation is underway into the incident. Yep, just the same way that it was for that Portland, Oregon flight. Yeah, it was Alaska Airlines, but I thought it was going between Portland and somewhere else. The incident, yes, January 9th, Boeing 737 MAX 9 operated by Alaska Airlines lost its door mid-flight. The Federal Aviation Administration recently completed a 6-week audit of the company in the wake of the issue. We found that Boeing adequately pays people off. We found nothing wrong with it. To hold Boeing accountable for its production quality issues, the FAA has halted production expansion. Oh, okay, cool. We won't make any more faulty planes because we have enough already of the Boeing 737 MAX. It's exploring the use of a third party to conduct independent reviews of the quality. You're the government. You need this is why government overreach is so pernicious, and will continue to increase on-site presence at Boeing facility in Renton, Washington, Spirit Aerosystems facility in Wichita, Kansas. How worthless. Thanks, FAA. Make sure that you hire enough diversity in order to check enough boxes, you bunch of creeps. The agency also said it was it will thoroughly review all of Boeing's corrective actions to determine if they fully address the FAA's findings. Boeing has promised full transparency moving forward from the FAA. Boeing 737 had previously been grounded in 2019 following 2 crashes that were later determined to be the result of insufficient pilot training on Boeing design software. Right, sure. Lion Air Flight 610, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, claiming 346 people's lives. Yo. But you would have thought they would have tried to get to the bottom of this situation, get to the root cause of the problem with the 737 MAX airliners, but no, man, they've been having problems ever since they've rolled off the production line. Guys like John Barnett, people with eyes seeing that there's problems with the most safe form of travel out there. You wonder why there's conspiracy theories for somebody who's just simply trying to sound the alarm. You wonder why there's such skepticism with the likes of the FAA prioritizing immutable characteristics over competent pilots. You start to wonder, why is it that the government and big corporations don't really care about the safety and health of the passengers and the people willing to travel and seek freedom? Really does get the old noggin jogging now, doesn't it? But that right there, that sounds like a conspiracy theory. And if we go any further than that, even though I'm not exhibiting any signs that it would lead to the contrary, I think it would be safer carrying around evidence linking certain people to events in Benghazi. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.